Chapter 1. The Pyramid Principle by Barbara Minto is a renowned book that offers a structured approach to effective communication and problem solving. The book is particularly valuable for professionals who need to present complex ideas clearly and logically. In the first chapter of the book, titled Logic in Writing, Thinking, and Problem Solving, Minto introduces the fundamental concepts that form the basis of her communication framework. Minto starts by highlighting the common challenges faced by professionals when communicating complex ideas. She emphasizes that people often struggle to structure their thoughts and arguments in a way that is easy for the audience to understand. This is especially true when dealing with intricate concepts or information that may be overwhelming at first glance. To address this challenge, Minto introduces the concept of pyramid thinking as a solution. The pyramid represents a hierarchical structure in which the main point or conclusion is placed at the top, supported by a few key subpoints, which are then further elaborated upon by subsequent layers of information. This structure, she argues, mirrors how the human mind naturally processes information, by first grasping the main idea and then seeking additional details to support and understand it. Minto goes on to explain the significance of laying out ideas in a pyramid structure. The approach not only helps the audience comprehend the information more easily but also assists the communicator in organizing their own thoughts more effectively. By following this structure, communicators are encouraged to think critically about the hierarchy of their ideas and the logical relationships between them. The author delves into the three essential elements of pyramid thinking: the situation, complication, and question. These elements correspond to the foundational building blocks of any communication. 1. Situation. This is the starting point where the communicator presents the context and background information. It helps the audience understand the circumstances and sets the stage for the problem or scenario being discussed. 2. Complication. The complication represents the challenge, issue, or opportunity that requires attention. It introduces the complexity into the situation and forms the basis for the rest of the communication. 3. Question. The question is the key inquiry that needs to be addressed. It focuses the communication on a specific objective and helps guide the audience's understanding toward a particular conclusion. Minto emphasizes that by structuring communication around these three elements, communicators can establish a strong foundation for their ideas. The situation provides context, the complication introduces complexity, and the question sets the direction for the discussion. In addition to the three elements, Minto introduces the concept of the pyramid principle itself. Ideas should be presented in a way that follows a top-down flow, with the main point at the beginning and subsequent information supporting and elaborating on that point. This approach ensures that the audience is guided through the communication in a logical and coherent manner. Minto concludes the chapter by discussing the benefits of using the pyramid structure in problem solving. She argues that this approach helps individuals approach complex issues systematically and ensures that all relevant factors are considered. By organizing thoughts hierarchically, individuals can identify the root causes of problems, evaluate potential solutions, and present their findings in a clear and persuasive manner. In summary, the first chapter of the Pyramid Principle introduces the core concepts of pyramid thinking and its application in effective communication and problem solving. Barbara Minto emphasizes the importance of structuring ideas in a logical hierarchy, with a clear main point supported by subpoints and details. This approach not only aids in conveying complex information but also enhances critical thinking and decision-making processes. By mastering the principles outlined in this chapter, readers can enhance their ability to communicate persuasively and think critically in a professional context. Chapter 2. The Pyramid Structure. The second chapter of the Pyramid Principle delves deeper into the pyramid structure itself, providing readers with a comprehensive understanding of how to construct effective communication using this framework. Barbara Minto begins by reiterating the importance of structuring ideas in a top-down manner, with the main point or conclusion placed at the beginning. She explains that this approach allows the audience to immediately grasp the central message and subsequently delve into the supporting details. Minto introduces the concept of the whole story and emphasizes that a well-constructed pyramid should convey the complete message even if the audience only reads the headings or main points. This ensures that even those with limited time or attention can still understand the core idea being presented. The chapter then delves into the key principles of the pyramid structure. 1. Ideas should be grouped logically. Minto advises that ideas should be grouped together based on their logical relationships. This means that ideas that support or relate to each other should be placed in the same group, creating a coherent and organized structure. 2. Hierarchy of ideas. Minto stresses the importance of establishing a clear hierarchy within the pyramid. Each main point should have supporting subpoints, and each subpoint should have further details. This hierarchical arrangement aids in understanding the relationship between different pieces of information. 3. Parallel structures. Minto introduces the concept of parallel structures, wherein ideas that are at the same level of the pyramid should be presented in a parallel and consistent manner. This enhances readability and aids in comprehension. 4. Cascading levels. The pyramid structure is built on cascading levels, where each level provides more specific information than the level above it. This gradual unfolding of details helps the audience follow the logical progression of ideas. 5. Conclusion-driven thinking. Minto reiterates that the pyramid structure encourages conclusion-driven thinking. Communicators should determine the main point they want to convey and then use the pyramid to build a logical path leading to that conclusion. The chapter continues with practical advice on how to create effective headings and subheadings. Minto suggests that headings should be complete sentences that convey a clear message on their own. This way, even without reading the accompanying text, the audience can still understand the main points. Additionally, Minto discusses the importance of consistency in labeling headings and subheadings. Consistent labeling helps the audience quickly identify the hierarchy and relationships between different parts of the communication. The chapter concludes by addressing the common challenges individuals may encounter when using the pyramid structure. These challenges include the tendency to provide too much detail at higher levels of the pyramid, not providing enough detail at lower levels, and failing to maintain parallel structure and consistency in labeling. In summary, the second chapter of the pyramid principle provides readers with a thorough understanding of the pyramid structure and its essential principles. Barbara Minto emphasizes the logical grouping of ideas, the establishment of a clear hierarchy, the use of parallel structures, and the importance of conclusion-driven thinking. The chapter also offers practical guidance on creating effective headings and addresses potential challenges in using the pyramid approach. By mastering these concepts, individuals can create communication that is not only clear and organized but also highly persuasive and impactful. Chapter 3, the SCQA Framework. In the third chapter of the Pyramid Principle, Barbara Minto introduces the SCQA Framework, which stands for Situation, Complication, Question, and Answer. This framework serves as a structured approach to problem solving and communication. Minto explains how the SCQA framework enhances the clarity and effectiveness of communication by guiding the audience through a logical sequence of information. 1. Situation. The chapter begins with a focus on the situation element of the SCQA framework. Minto emphasizes that presenting the situation is crucial for providing context and setting the stage for the subsequent discussion. She advises communicators to provide just enough information to establish the necessary background without overwhelming the audience with unnecessary details. 2. Complication. The complication element introduces complexity into the situation. Minto suggests that this step is vital for capturing the audience's attention and interest. The complication highlights the problem, challenge, or opportunity that needs to be addressed. It helps create a sense of relevance and urgency in the communication. 3. Question. The question element narrows down the focus of the communication. Minto argues that this step is essential for guiding both the communicator's thought process and the audience's understanding. By posing a specific question, communicators can lead the audience toward a clear objective and conclusion. The question becomes the central theme that the subsequent communication will revolve around. 4. Answer. The answer is the ultimate conclusion or solution to the question posed earlier. Minto emphasizes that the answer should be stated directly and concisely at the beginning of the communication. This aligns with the top-down pyramid structure and ensures that the audience immediately grasps the main point. Subsequent sections of the communication then provide the supporting details and evidence that lead to the stated answer. Minto explains that the SCQA framework is particularly effective in problem-solving situations. By structuring communication around these four elements, communicators can approach complex issues in a methodical and organized manner. This framework encourages critical thinking and helps communicators focus on the most relevant and impactful aspects of the problem at hand. The chapter also addresses the common pitfall of introducing an answer before laying out the situation, complication, and question. Minto emphasizes that this approach can confuse the audience and weaken the logical flow of the communication. By adhering to the SCQA framework, communicators ensure that the audience is guided through a logical sequence of information that builds up to the conclusion. Minto concludes the chapter by providing examples of how the SCQA framework can be applied in various contexts, including business presentations, reports, and written communication. She emphasizes that this structured approach not only enhances communication clarity but also facilitates more effective problem-solving and decision-making. In summary, the third chapter of the Pyramid Principle introduces the SCQA framework as a structured approach to communication and problem-solving. Barbara Minto explains how each element, situation, complication, question, and answer, contributes to the logical flow of information and guides both the communicator and the audience toward a clear conclusion. The chapter provides practical insights into applying the SCQA framework and highlights its benefits in enhancing the effectiveness of communication. Chapter 4, the MECE Principle. In the fourth chapter of the Pyramid Principle, Barbara Minto introduces the MECE, mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive, principle as a critical tool for structuring ideas and information. The MECE principle ensures that information is organized in a way that avoids duplication and omission, leading to clear and comprehensive communication. 1. Mutually exclusive. The MECE principle emphasizes that categories or groups should be mutually exclusive, meaning that each piece of information should fit into one and only one category. This prevents overlap and confusion in the communication. 2. Collectively exhaustive. The MECE principle also requires that the categories or groups cover all possible options without any gaps. This ensures that no important information is left out and that the communication provides a comprehensive view of the subject. Minto illustrates the MECE principle using a variety of examples, emphasizing its application in structuring ideas, data, and information in a logical and organized manner. By adhering to the MECE principle, communicators can present complex concepts more effectively and ensure that the audience gains a clear understanding of the topic. The chapter further discusses the MECE principle's role in problem solving. Minto explains how using the MECE approach in analyzing a problem or situation helps individuals break down the complexity and identify all relevant factors. This, in turn, supports the creation of a well-structured and persuasive communication. Minto also addresses common challenges and pitfalls that can arise when attempting to apply the MECE principle. These challenges include failing to achieve true mutual exclusivity or exhaustiveness, as well as the risk of being overly detailed or too high-level in categorization. The chapter concludes with practical tips and guidelines for effectively using the MECE principle in various contexts, such as brainstorming sessions, data analysis, and structuring reports or presentations. Minto emphasizes that the MECE principle, when combined with the pyramid structure, forms a powerful framework for clear and impactful communication. In summary, the fourth chapter of the Pyramid Principle introduces the MECE, mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive, principle as a tool for organizing ideas and information. Barbara Minto explains how the MECE principle ensures logical categorization, avoids duplication, and encompasses all relevant options. The chapter highlights the application of the MECE principle in both communication and problem solving, and provides guidance on effectively implementing this principle to enhance the clarity and effectiveness of one's communication. Chapter 5: Creating Pyramids for the Written Word. In the fifth chapter of the Pyramid Principle, Barbara Minto focuses on applying the pyramid structure to written communication, such as reports, memos, and documents. Minto provides practical guidance on how to construct effective pyramids for written communication and how to enhance the clarity and impact of one's writing. Minto begins by reiterating the importance of having a clear, concise, and conclusion-driven structure. She emphasizes that the pyramid structure is particularly useful for written communication because it guides the reader's understanding and ensures that the main point is immediately evident. The chapter outlines a step-by-step process for creating a well-structured pyramid in written communication. 1. Identify the answer. Before starting to write, communicators should identify the main point or answer they want to convey. This answer forms the top of the pyramid and provides the focus for the entire communication. 2. Organize supporting points. Minto advises communicators to determine the key supporting points that lead to the answer. These supporting points become the sub-points of the pyramid and should be organized in a logical sequence. 3. Elaborate with detail. Each sub-point in the pyramid should be further elaborated with relevant details, evidence, examples, or data. This adds depth and credibility to the communication. 4. Craft effective headings. Minto discusses the importance of crafting headings that accurately reflect the content of each section. Clear and descriptive headings help guide the reader's understanding and make the document more accessible. 5. Create parallel structures. Minto emphasizes the need to maintain parallel structure throughout the document. This involves using consistent formatting, style, and language for headings and subpoints, which aids readability and comprehension. 6. Review and refine. After constructing the pyramid, Minto recommends reviewing and refining the communication for clarity, coherence, and effectiveness. This review process involves ensuring that the hierarchy of ideas is clear, that the pyramid flows logically, and that unnecessary information is removed. The chapter also addresses challenges specific to written communication, such as addressing varying reader backgrounds and avoiding jargon or technical language that may alienate the audience. Minto provides tips for tailoring the communication to the reader's needs while maintaining the integrity of the pyramid structure. Additionally, Minto discusses how to use appendices effectively in written communication. Appendices are a way to provide detailed information without cluttering the main text. However, she advises communicators to avoid using appendices as a way to avoid the work of structuring the main communication properly. In summary, the fifth chapter of the Pyramid Principle delves into the application of the pyramid structure in written communication. Barbara Minto provides a step-by-step process for creating effective pyramids in written documents, focusing on identifying the answer, organizing supporting points, elaborating with detail, crafting headings, and ensuring parallel structure. The chapter also offers insights into tailoring the communication to the audience's needs and using appendices appropriately. By mastering these techniques, communicators can create written documents that are both clear and persuasive. Chapter 6: Writing as a Tool of Thought. In the sixth chapter of the Pyramid Principle, Barbara Minto explores the connection between writing and thinking. Minto argues that writing is not just a means of communicating ideas, it's also a powerful tool for structuring and clarifying one's own thoughts. Minto begins by discussing how writing helps individuals organize their thoughts more effectively. She introduces the idea that writing forces individuals to articulate their ideas clearly and logically. This process helps in identifying gaps in reasoning, inconsistencies, and areas that need further exploration. In essence, writing serves as a mechanism for critical thinking. The chapter emphasizes the importance of the pyramid structure in this process. Minto explains that as individuals write, they naturally create mental pyramids to organize their thoughts. The act of writing these pyramids down helps in refining the structure and ensuring that the communication is coherent and compelling. Minto also addresses the challenge of writer's block. She suggests that writer's block often occurs when individuals start writing without a clear structure or central message. By beginning with a well-defined pyramid structure, writers have a roadmap for their thoughts, making the writing process smoother and more productive. The chapter then discusses the iterative nature of writing. Minto highlights that writing is not a linear process but rather a series of revisions and refinements. She advises writers to approach their first drafts with the understanding that they will likely need multiple rounds of editing to achieve clarity and precision. Minto also provides insights into the role of feedback in the writing process. She emphasizes that seeking feedback from others can help identify blind spots, inconsistencies, and areas that require improvement. Constructive feedback contributes to refining the communication and enhancing its impact. The chapter concludes by discussing the role of writing in problem solving and decision making. Minto explains that the act of writing allows individuals to dissect complex issues, consider various perspectives, and arrive at well-structured solutions. The pyramid structure, combined with effective writing, helps individuals analyze problems systematically and communicate solutions persuasively. In summary, the sixth chapter of the pyramid principle delves into the relationship between writing and thinking. Barbara Minto highlights that writing is a tool that aids in structuring and clarifying thoughts, facilitating critical thinking, and refining communication. The chapter underscores the importance of starting with a clear pyramid structure, the iterative nature of the writing process, and the role of feedback in enhancing the quality of communication. Ultimately, effective writing is not just about conveying ideas, it's also a means of developing and organizing those ideas in a logical and persuasive manner. Chapter 7, The Thinking Process. In the seventh chapter of the Pyramid Principle, Barbara Minto explores the thinking process in greater depth. She examines how individuals naturally think and how the pyramid structure aligns with the way the human mind processes information. Minto begins by discussing the cognitive effort required to process complex information. She emphasizes that the human brain seeks to simplify and organize information in order to understand it. The pyramid structure mirrors this natural cognitive process by presenting a clear main point followed by supporting subpoints and details. The chapter introduces the concept of logic trees. Minto explains that logic trees are visual representations of the pyramid structure, showing the hierarchy of ideas and how they relate to each other. Logic trees aid in clarifying complex problems and communicating solutions effectively. Minto further explores the mechanics of how the human brain processes information. She discusses the chunking principle, which involves grouping related pieces of information together to form meaningful units. The pyramid structure facilitates chunking by presenting ideas in a structured and organized manner. The chapter also addresses the importance of coherence in communication. Minto explains that coherence is achieved when each part of the communication contributes to the overall message. The pyramid structure inherently promotes coherence by guiding the audience through a logical sequence of ideas. Minto then introduces the concept of front-loading. Front-loading involves placing the main point or conclusion at the beginning of the communication. This approach respects the natural tendency of readers to seek the main point early on and aligns with the pyramid structure's top-down flow. The chapter explores the application of the pyramid principle to various types of communication, including reports, memos, presentations, and problem-solving documents. Minto emphasizes that the pyramid structure is versatile and can be adapted to suit different communication purposes. In summary, the seventh chapter of the Pyramid Principle delves into the thinking process and how the pyramid structure aligns with the natural way the human brain processes information. Barbara Minto explains how logic trees and chunking aid in understanding complex problems, and how the pyramid structure promotes coherence and front-loading in communication. The chapter underscores the adaptability of the pyramid principle across different types of communication, highlighting its effectiveness in enhancing clarity and impact.